Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? It's Joe here from Spain Speaks with an update video today in the car. The neighbours have decided to do some renovations to one of their bathrooms, so it's a little bit noisy at home. So I thought we'd go for a drive into Madrid, check out what's happening there, and have a bit of a chat about what's happening in Spain at the moment. So let's hit the road. Now, it's a public holiday in Madrid today. We're celebrating the Dia de la Comunidad, the Madrid community holiday. I think it was actually yesterday, but they've passed the holiday on to the Monday to give people an extra day off. So there's not going to be a lot of activity, not expecting a lot of traffic. But of course, we're always going to get the famous domingueros, as they call them here, Sunday drivers, people that sit on national highways going way below the speed limit. And then once we get into Madrid, we're going to see that there's not a lot going on today. There might be a few people out and about, but of course the majority will be enjoying their public holiday in Madrid. Considering that we can't travel anywhere at the moment, or at least not legally, I'm sure that some people have made the escape to places like Valencia for the long weekend, but the majority, I imagine, as I said, staying put in Madrid. Considering that we are in that state of alarm, which is finishing next week. So we'll see what happens when that state of alarm finishes, whether people will be able to travel freely around the country again, or whether different autonomous communities will impose their own rules and regulations when it comes to mobility. That's what we are waiting to see. And in typical fashion, they are leaving it until the last minute to decide. Now, I'm on one of the ring roads here in Madrid, the M50, one of these roads that circles the city. There's the M30, the M40 and the M50, which is this one. Then we're going to cut across and go into Madrid through Vallecas. We'll take the back streets and we might even go past the famous Caja Mágica where the Madrid Open tennis is being held. I don't know whether it started yet, but I know that it is going to be held soon. I saw a little bit of press today about Rafa Nadal, who is apparently playing. He said that he loves to play in Madrid. One of the main draw cards of this tournament, Rafa Nadal, the famous Spanish tennis player. This is all part of his preparation, I imagine, for the French Open. I think he's going for title number 13 or 14 this year, is Rafa. And if he wins the French Open again this year, they may as well just change the name and call it the Rafa Nadal Tournament from now on. Forget about the French Open, the Rafa Nadal Tournament. Now it's the 3rd of May today. Tomorrow is the 4th of May, the Madrid elections, when people from Madrid go to the polls to vote for either communism or freedom, which is the key slogan from the Madrid Premier, Ms. Díaz Ayuso. Communism or freedom. What an absolute load of rubbish. And that's been one of the main characteristics of this election. Headlines like that one, communism or freedom, socialism or fascism. Madrid politicians have been working really hard to bring up the past. And Ms. Ayuso, of course, playing on the fact that if she doesn't get elected, we are in for a nasty shock, according to her. Communism will reign in Spain. So people of Madrid, you have the choice. And I mentioned the other day, I think, that I've never seen the words communism and fascism thrown around so much as I have seen in recent times here during this election campaign. A little bit over the top, but unfortunately there are people that believe that rhetoric. I was speaking to some people yesterday who mentioned that, and they are very worried if the socialist government takes control of Madrid. Now, this is the M40, another one of those ring roads. We're going to go across here into Calle Embajadores. We're going to enter Madrid this way. People that have been following these vlogs for a while will know this route. I've done it on a couple of occasions. So we're on the outskirts of the city now. In about 5 minutes' time, we'll be bang in the center. See a lot of people on the right here riding their bikes. This is the M40 cycle path. I think it goes all around the city. You can see there the sign for Caja Mágica. There's people going to the tennis over there. Porsche rocking up. So the tennis is obviously started. Just starting to fill up today. Lots of nice cars in the car park. Quite a bit of activity around here. There we can see the Madrid Open Tennis. Now remember that this event is being held with crowds. I think it's one of the first events here in Madrid for quite a while. There was a concert a few months ago, but I don't think there's been much since. Of course, no La Liga football games are being played at the moment with crowds. There is talk that they're going to come back, but I don't know whether that's before the end of the season or they're going to start next season with crowds. But we are living that experiment at the moment. There was a concert a few weeks ago in Barcelona, and I think that concert got the okay in the sense that there were no recorded cases after the concert. There were 5,000 people, I think, together, people wearing masks. There was no social distancing going on, so it was an experiment, and I think the experiment went okay, or at least that's what I've read. So I think this tennis tournament is also going to be an experiment, but people here convinced that they can hold safe events with the current health crisis that we have. Now we're coming into Madrid. We're going to enter one of my old neighborhoods here, the Legazpi neighborhood, Embajadores. Not one of the better ones in Madrid, but it's not too bad. We'll see if we can get through the traffic lights here. But as I said, should be a quiet day today, given that it is a public holiday. And it's the second public holiday in a row. There was another one on Saturday. Last Saturday was also a public holiday. We celebrated the Workers' Day, or May Day, or whatever they call it. And today, of course, another public holiday. So back-to-back public holidays. And we've got another one coming up in Madrid on the 15th of May as well, San Isidro, which is the patron saint of this city, San Isidro. A few people out and about, enjoying their day off. Going to have breakfast, people enjoying the nice weather, bit overcast as we can see, but the temperature's quite pleasant, 15 or 16 degrees. And as I said, this was my old neighbourhood. Hasn't really changed from what I can see. A few new businesses around the place. Pizza parlour there on the corner, that wasn't there when I was here. That's where I used to live, just over there. Lived at number 122 of this street. So I've got some good memories of this barrio. Paseo de las Delicias is the name. And if you know Madrid well, you will know that this street turns into Paseo del Prado, which then turns into a street called Recoletos, and then into the Paseo de Castellana, which splits the city. So if we went all the way up this street and just kept on going straight, we would split the city of Madrid. But I have to turn off here, unfortunately, because my destination is up here on the right. We can see all the propaganda still in the streets. Vota Ciudadanos, which is the Citizens Party. Premier here, the incumbent Ms. Ayuso up there on the right as well. Libertad, freedom, which is her slogan, as I mentioned before. And the idea is to convince the people of this city that freedom is their only choice. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see who claims victory in the election. Whether it is Ms. Ayuso, whether she needs to govern with the help of another party, whether it's the Vox party or whether it's the Citizens Party, tomorrow we will know. Now I'm coming up to the place that I need to be, so I'm just going to park the car and we'll pick up again when I head home. All right, back in the car, ready to go home. We'll continue where we left off. I can't remember what I was talking about. I think it was about the elections, but we'll change topics anyway. And we'll have a brief chat about something that I mentioned yesterday, this anti-EU sentiment that seems to be popping up. Reading some of the comments in the comment section, there's a few people talking about this. People from the UK saying that they're going to boycott countries in the European Union. Spain, maybe they're going to start boycotting EU products as well. And a newspaper that we saw yesterday, The Express. To be honest, I don't really trust what I read in some British tabloid newspapers. The Express is one of those. I saw a poll a couple of weeks ago talking about this. Some 2,000 or 3,000 people were surveyed, and around 80% of those surveyed said that they plan to boycott the European Union this year, take holidays somewhere else, not come to Spain, not go to Portugal. So there are newspapers in the UK stirring up this anti-EU sentiment. British people living in Spain also complaining that they have lost rights since leaving the European Union. Logically, saw somebody in the comment section complaining that now he has to get a driver's license here in Spain, has to sit the test. I've said it once and I'll say it again, welcome to the club. I had to do all of those things when I first came here. Didn't have any of those privileges that people from the European Union had. That you could move to a place like Spain with no dramas. You could drive with your English licenses. You could drive with your Irish license. It was fantastic there, I imagine, for a while. Didn't have any stress. You could come and go when you pleased. But of course, all that has changed, and now you have to go through the same processes that everyone else has to go to if they want to come and live in a country like this. I had to get my driver's license. I'm driving now because I've got a Spanish license. My Australian license wasn't accepted here. It wasn't recognized. I had to go to driving classes again. I had to sit a test, had to sit 2 tests. It wasn't easy, but it's what I had to do. And when it came to getting visas and when it came to getting residence permits as well, it wasn't easy. I had to spend a lot of money on gestores, people to do things for me. But that's what happens when you move to any country that you don't have these agreements with. But it is what it is. No point complaining. Just do what you got to do. If you got to get a license, you get a license. If you got to pay somebody to do paperwork for you, you do it. If you can't live in Spain because you don't meet the requirements, such is life. And I don't think a lot of these requirements are unique to Spain. I think if somebody wanted to go and live in Greece, they would also have to go through the same process. I think if somebody wanted to go and live in Portugal, you have to go through the same processes. Maybe there are agreements in certain countries. I don't know. Maybe you don't have to have as much money to go and live in Portugal as you do to come and live in Spain. But it's not easy to live in the European Union if you're not a member of the European Union. And also when it comes to tourism this year, talk about Spain being on a green list, whether it's going to be on a red list, whether it's going to be on a green list. Got no idea what's going on there. As we know, the health situation varies across the country. Health situation in Valencia is not the same as the health situation here in Madrid. The health situation in the north of country is also different depending on where you are. Galicia is not the same as the Basque Country. Asturias is not the same as Cantabria. So there are different situations all around the country, and of course this might make it complicated. Places like the Balearic Islands are talking about doing their own thing. Places like Valencia are also talking about doing their own thing because the health numbers there are not too bad. But again, if that happens or not, nobody really knows. Are autonomous communities here in Spain going to be able to have their own agreements with countries like the UK? Are they going to be able to have their own special green corridors? Nobody knows. It's all speculation at the moment. And are there going to be enough people vaccinated in Spain for safe travel to happen? Don't know. But as I have said on numerous occasions, the speech that we are hearing from politicians in Spain, the Prime Minister, the Health Minister, other prominent politicians, is that 70% of the population is going to be vaccinated by the end of summer. So maybe we're going to have 45, 50, 55% of the population vaccinated before summer. But as I said, these are questions that currently nobody knows the answer to. Now, things start to get tricky on this part of the highway as I approach Rivas Pacia Madrid, going past the rubbish tip here on my right, just coming up to it, Valdemengomez. We'll see there the police on the right, some type of control, the rubbish tip. There's a settlement there, and apparently it is one of the biggest illegal drug markets in the Madrid community. So I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.